Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Kalia Garrido. I am the founder of Healthy Women Leaders. Healthy Women Leaders is an organization. We are based in Denver, but we are really all over the United States at this time. And our mission is to educate and inspire women to practice radical self-care so that they can thrive in life. Simply put, ladies. So this is a video series that we have recently launched, and it's designed to highlight women who have unlocked something when it comes to health or wellness in whatever its form that is worthy of sharing out with other people. We want to amplify the voices of those that have figured something out and share it out with the women that might be able to take some golden nuggets from it. And today, absolutely no exception to that. So today I am very excited to have Karen Collins here with us. Thank you so much for joining us, Karen.
Oh, I could not be more excited. This is amazing.
We're doing it. We rescheduled like 4 times, but we're doing it today. So Karen is a mom, a wife, a sister, a daughter. She is a serial nonprofit board member and career coach. She is also here with us today as the founder of Empower Lead, which is a career consulting kind of boutique firm is what I think you're really turning into. So Karen is on a mission to find a deep connection and vulnerability with others. And she uses that bond that she is able to quickly develop and establish to help people manage what can become a massive change in their world. So she is a career coach and she helps people manage professional change. Ironically enough, something that not only the world at large, because of everything that's happening here, but both Karen and myself are in the process of going through right now today, which is professional change. So Karen, again, thank you so much for being here with us.
Oh, I am, like I said, I am thrilled to be here, and we are both going through exciting change, and you know, it just helps us feel alive.
Yeah, and I think there's so much of it happening out in the world right now, right? You hear a lot of people are losing their jobs, a lot of people are getting new jobs, a lot of people have instability or insecurity in any number of ways. So before we get into that and kind of getting some tips and tricks from you on how to manage something like this, can you share just a little bit about your background, where you started, where you are now, what you're up to?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you again for having me. This is just a dream come true to be here with you. And I've just loved how this relationship has flourished over the last, year, I think we have been?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we had that deep connection right away. That's what we did. Sat down at a coffee shop and I looked up and it was 2 hours later and we were like late for meetings. And I was like, what just happened?
Late for meetings, like for picking up our kids. It was
right.
all over the place, but totally worth it. Well, you asked about my background. So I am a Southern belle at heart. I moved to Denver about 4 years ago, and this is our home. We love it, and we are excited to feel like we are laying down roots, whatever that looks like. But this is where we are. And from a professional background, I have spent majority of my career supporting executives in the nonprofit sector in really understanding what their strategic and technical visions are and their programs and campaigns and how to thrive amidst change. And through that experience, I have met so many wonderful people, and I've also been able to identify for me what makes me thrive. And helping nonprofits build and fulfill their mission absolutely is inspiring. What I found is that wasn't what got me up every day. What got me up every day were the people, and understanding the executives and how they were trying to lead their teams, or if they felt that they were leading teams, but that really wasn't what they were called to do. And those were the conversations that I just dove into, which is what led me to realize that for me to live a life on purpose, I needed to focus on the people. And that's really where Empower Lead came from, is empowering positive leadership in every way that I can.
I love it. Great. Okay, so right now, as we film this today, we are like end of July 2020, the year that I'm sure will go down in all of the history books. At least we're going through it right now. So are you seeing like a serious increase in people that are wanting to talk to you about, I think, not only like the unrest and the uncertainty that we've talked about, a lot of change, a lot of layoffs and things like that, but even more so, COVID times have shown us that things can change instantly, that we are not promised tomorrow in a way that makes us want to take better advantage of today. So are you seeing are you seeing more of a groundswell coming at you right now?
Yeah, it was truly a roller coaster. At the beginning, I think everyone hunkered down, right?
Mm-hmm.
We were
Yeah.
we were craving stability, so there was no move.
Yeah.
So with regards to were people looking for change in the beginning, we all, I think, just sheltered in place,
Yeah.
literally and also spiritually and physically, to try to just gain some type of control over what we had. And then as we started to see that this was not going anywhere, and we also started to experience that discomfort in the unknown, people started to recognize that this was a time for change, and not only a time for professional change in the regards to furloughs, layoffs, all of that, but also a realization of the culture in which you worked with, and the response that organizations had to this really demonstrated what their values were. And so what I've seen is, starting about mid-May was when people started to come out of the woodworks and saying, I need to analyze my values. I need to look at what it is that I want to do and what contribution I want to make in this world, and trying to determine whether they wanted to continue that with an organization that they have, and how they could deepen that learning and that contribution and leadership, or recognizing that they wanted to go and do what made them get up every morning, to live life on purpose. And recognizing that they were not doing that. And COVID has uncovered that for a lot of people.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So when somebody is starting, like I said, you're going through it, I'm going through it. It's very exciting when you're sort of on the other side of it. But before you know what it is that's kind of nagging at you, before you're able to put words to what it is, can you describe a little bit about maybe some of the phases that people might go through when they're beginning to embark upon a professional change journey?
Absolutely. When you start to get that nagging, you mentioned that nagging, that's something inside of us, and that's our intuition. And I don't know at what age we are taught to stop listening to our intuition. You have a young daughter, I have two young daughters, and they thrive and they live off of their gut and what their gut tells them, and it's beautiful and it's creative. And it's what we always say when we're like, oh, bring that inner child out in you. We all have that inner child inside of us. It's our intuition, it's our gut, it's that spidey sense that we have. But we're taught to put that away, and to rely on our knowledge, to rely on our book sense, when that's not really what is going to allow us to live a life that causes us to be excited when we wake up. And so when people start to get that sense and start to get uncomfortable in their known, that usually brings out things like imposter syndrome, fear. And for me, when I hear somebody tell me, I don't think I can do that, or fear, that excites me, because that is our animal instinct to stay safe. Even if the known is awful, it is known, and that is better than the unknown. And that is just because human beings are animals, right? So when you start to feel that fear, that's when you should get excited, because that is absolutely when change is happening. And we as animals, we don't like change. But when we thrive and live into it, yes, that's when you'll see the change really start to happen.
That is it. That is so it. So whenever I feel, it might even be a 50-50 mix of fear and excitement, like that to me has become a sign over the course of my life that I have to do the thing. Like I've made whatever kind of personal commitment to myself that if I feel that 50-50 of fear and excitement, I have to do it. And it's led me here.
Yeah.
It's like, what would you do without that?
Right. And that's where, people, we oftentimes let fear be a stop sign. And we won't, do not pass go, do not collect your $200. When in reality, what fear should be is a blinking red light, right? Or a blinking yellow light. You shouldn't ignore it altogether, because it's there for a reason. We have that instinct for a reason. And it really should mean pay attention. Let's pay attention to what's happening right now. Don't stop. you know,
Yeah.
and so acknowledge that fear, that, you know, inner critic, acknowledge her, say, thank you for alerting me to this. You are right. I am going to embark on change, and it is going to be different. Thank you. And let's do this together. And then find inside you, you have an inner critic. You also have an inner leader. So then push that inner critic, say, thank you for your contribution. Thank you for your concern. Now go away and find that inner leader inside of you and see what she wants to do. And let's tap into her and let her lead the way.
Yeah. And this is going to get into some of the key stuff about being able to know yourself and being able to spot when you're feeling that fear. It might not feel like what you think. Yeah. It might manifest as being angry at everybody around you. It could look, you know, many different ways, but when you really get to know yourself, which one of the core pillars that we teach at Healthy Women Leaders is to know yourself first and foremost, then you're able to find who that leader is that's in there as well.
Exactly.
I think that's great.
We choose to ignore it, push either one aside. And you're right. Let's confront them. Let's know ourselves, both the critic and the leader, and let's find a way to use both to just go for it. To just be our badass selves. You know?
Love it. Okay. Oh, that's a little echoey. All right. So when somebody does that, when they confront it, when they get to know themselves enough and they go for it and they're ready to embrace their inner badass, what does it look like when you're on the other side of that? When you've taken somebody who has an idea or they're not feeling right and they want to make a change, when you take them through your process, how does that look on the other end?
Oh, it is. I mean, people are on fire, and it you know, it's one of those things where I know it going in. I've been on both sides of it. I've seen people transform. And when that light bulb comes on, when they start to live on purpose and identify their values, right? When you understand your core values, then you can live as yourself. You know, it's, you know, as well as I do, it's exhausting being one human being. So why do we force ourselves to be 3 or 4, right? Like, why are we work Karen and mom Karen and spouse Karen and friend Karen? Like, that's exhausting. Right. So when you dive in and you understand what your core values are, then you just get to show up and be that person. You just get to be Karen.
Yeah.
And it is so fun because then you start to feel alive, and every conversation you have, every decision you make is on purpose and feels good. And there's no complication there. There's no discomfort that isn't worth facing. So you go into the discomfort because you're like, I know that I'm going to come out of this with exactly what is meant to happen, because you're going towards it with your values. And it's so fun to see that transformation. And people they're like a sunrise. They just are on fire when that happens.
I love that. That's living in the flow. And so we talked a little bit about, you know, how I'm going through personal change, and, you know, the role that I had before the one that I've just stepped into like 2 weeks ago, there was nothing wrong with it. Everything was fine. I love my business partner, you know, we're doing cool stuff and all this. But when the new opportunity presented itself, which was just, you know, fell from the sky almost, right?
Yeah.
I started this role. Something was interesting about it. It was exciting. It was a little scary because it's a change. And so you go for it. All of a sudden we're sitting here on the other side, and I feel an alignment between my head and my heart and my role in my career that is lighting me up. Like, I have more energy to do stuff that before would be like, you know, it's like that's one of the things, right? We said maybe that fear or the need for a change doesn't look as you feel. For me, it was showing up as like a little bit of lethargy, and I wasn't even sure what it was about. When those 3 things are aligned, like, girl, you're on fire.
All of a sudden 6 a.m. on Sunday is like the most favorite time, because you have to get up and you have to do all the things. And, you know, for me, seeing you, it's because you thrive. A value of yours is health and well-being, right? That is a value of yours. And so when this opportunity came up for that to be a part of your career, it was a no-brainer, you know, and to see that fire light up on you of like, you get to live and breathe every day. Not that the other stuff wasn't great and fun.
It's fine. Right.
It didn't honor that a value, right? And honoring your values is where that that spark comes from.
Yeah. Yep. Awesome. If I can give everybody some advice, go for it. Just get it. Because you don't know what's on the other side, but you don't have to know. All you have to do is take that first step and the pathway opens up before you. And then it's just wonderful to know that there's people like you that are waiting to help guide, because it is an uncertain time and it is an uncertain thing when you're going to go through professional change. And sometimes you need somebody to guide you through and to reassure you that you're doing the right thing, even if you feel that fear. Maybe after this conversation, especially if you feel that fear. So that is awesome. Okay, so we mentioned, health and wellness. So like, what is your personal secret to living in good health?
Yeah, my personal secret is knowing your values. We talk about the unknown, right? And going into the unknown, and you have young daughters, so it just brings up Elsa, and I could belt singing.
Thank you for that. I had it out of my head for the last 25 minutes.
Not anymore. But
now it's back.
And that unknown, like, who cares about the unknown in our future? Let's solve the unknown inside of ourselves. Mm-hmm. And that really has been a transformation for me. And then the second, more tactical, is have you ever heard of Hal Elrod and the Miracle Morning?
No.
Okay. So he's a fantastic guy. He went through a lot of trauma with cancer at a very, I don't want to say young age, because he was an adult, but he was in his 20s, and he survived when no one else thought he could. But he has written this, probably the most famous book was this Miracle Morning. Mm-hmm. And for me, I am incapable of getting up at 2 hours ahead of time to do that, because inevitably if I get up 2 hours ahead of time to give it to myself, my daughters are going to get up at that same time. Mm-hmm. But because he knows there's people like you and like me that just have all these things going on and very little time to do it, there's this thing called the 7-minute morning. And it's the same process, but you spend 7 minutes hyper-focused on yourself, and it's called SAVERS, SAVERS. And I have used that methodology for probably the last 2 years. Every morning, I give myself 7 minutes. Sometimes it's in bed. I don't even get out of bed. And I practice the meditation and the routine. Sometimes I get up and I just sit on the floor and I go through it. And starting my day off with that intention, and starting the day off giving myself just a little bit of time, has transformed who I am, my focus, my willingness to be present. And so that is my secret in the bag.
I love it. And let me guess, part of that SAVERS is not the first thing picking up your phone and starting to scroll through your social feeds.
No.
Watch it, girls.
Yes.
That's what you're up to. I was doing that for a time. It makes you ill. Don't do that. Do the SAVERS or other type of meditation. Absolutely a great health tip. Okay. So how can we find you? If somebody is thinking and kind of on the precipice of maybe doing something new, how can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, go Karen at empower-lead.com, or go to my website, which is empower-lead.com, and see what it's all about. See if it's something that resonates with you. One of the things that people ask, when am I ready? How do I know if I'm ready? And a big joke that I say is, if you're shooting all over yourself, then you're ready. If you're saying, I should do this, or I should not do that. No, let's put those aside, and that's when you're ready, because you are starting to look at what change you can make, but what you're focusing on is what other people need. You're not focusing on what you need, and that's when you should start to find me.
Yep. Okay. Wonderful. I love it. Okay. All right. So then I will link, of course, we will link to all of the information that you've given here. We'll put it in the description. We'll be able to find you. And I just want to end on a note. I want to let everybody know, because again, this is summer of 2020, and we do a lot of talking about Karen and people by the name of Karen. So I have got to call it out that you are a Karen, but girl, you're an anti-Karen. You are helping other people. You are highlighting the benefits of things that can be, the possibilities, not getting bogged down by the little details and little rules. And so thank you for being a good representation of the namesake. I love it. We need more Karens like you out here.
Absolutely. And it goes along that same line of your inner critic versus your inner leader, right? There is the critic part of Karen that is on that racial side, on that, demanding things for herself, right? Let's put that Karen away. And let's talk about the inner leader Karen, which is demanding change. She's demanding to speak to the manager when she is not seeing that people are being treated fairly and treated right. And that's the Karen that we'll take with us out of 2020. And we'll just push the other one right out the door.
Woo! Mic drop at the end. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. This was a fantastic conversation. I feel like the main takeaway here is life on purpose. It is short. We are not promised tomorrow. We have seen there's a lot going around. If you have something that's nagging at you, or that you have a suspicion that it's in there, then you're right. And it is. And to get to where you need to be living your life on purpose, I think the time is to take the steps today. So thank you for the great work that you do and being there as a guide to help people. It's invaluable.
What you are doing, the spread that you are giving people and the platform you're giving people, we are forever grateful. So.
Yay. It's all love over here. Awesome. All right. Thank you so much, Karen. I really appreciate your time.
Yes.
Bye-bye.